Talk 1080, the team Orlando's Tuck and O'Neill with Mike Tuck. I'm Jerry O'Neill. Got the football out. Going to recap here on the day after. Alabama wins again the national championship. 4 in the last 7 years, all headed, of course, by head coach Nick Saban. A very entertaining national championship final. Alabama winning 45-40.
Fantastic football game, and you said it. It's incredible what Nick Saban's been able to do at Alabama. I think the most eye-opening stat I saw last night in regards to his tenure there, every single one of his recruiting classes has a national championship.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just mind-blowing to think that every kid he's recruited there has a national championship ring.
Pretty powerful when you're in that double wide, at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night, knocking flies or mosquitoes off your neck, especially to a young, trained student athlete to be. The big thing about the game were the huge, chunk plays that they got for touchdowns. You recall, they got 4 big ones, and every one was an impactful moment. Derrick Henry ran 50 yards at 7-0 Alabama. O.J. Howard caught a 53-yard touchdown pass, made it 21-14 Alabama. He caught another for over 50 yards, made it 31-24 Alabama. These are game-changing moments. Obviously, the kick return for 95 yards by Kenyon Drake is a backbreaker. It gives them a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter.
Alabama, this year, more than any other year, they've been a big play team. They've lived by them, thrived by them, and I thought Clemson did all the things necessary to win the football game. Mm-hmm. The 2 most important things I thought were Watson playing well and their defensive line holding their own against the run. A+, except for mental breakdowns. 3 mental errors result in 3 Alabama touchdowns. In special teams, the Achilles heel. I'm telling you, if you have one, it tends to show up at the worst possible time, and it showed up in the fourth quarter for Clemson.
The other thing is you go back and look now, the SEC back on top. They had a great bowl season for what it's worth. Take nothing away from the previous 2 years. They were championship caliber, the best team, including Alabama, a couple years ago when they got beat by an act of God in the Iron Bowl.
Well, Auburn lost the last second game to Florida State.
Correct. I mean, but that's how good, they were at the top of the conference. But, at the outset of the year, we wondered whether the SEC had enough with quarterbacks. Alabama now has gotten to the Final Four and wins the championship in back-to-back years with a new quarterback. Now, that is to tell you about the kind of talent that they have.
I've said this, man. God help us all if Alabama and Nick Saban recruits one of these NFL quarterbacks. Nobody else is going to have a chance. I mean, seriously, who would have a chance if they get Andrew Luck or Jameis Winston or somebody like there? I mean, they're dominant in every other phase, and they're getting it done with just guys playing the quarterback position.
And with respect, you usually talk about the champion, Clemson. You got to give it up. What a year. They were fortunate, I say this, the home games that they had against Notre Dame and against Florida State, and they won those games, not convincingly, didn't have to. Those are power teams that they had to play. But Clemson's arrived, not as though they are new to the stage. They've been there for a while, but you're going to have to contend with Dabo Swinney at Clemson from now on.
Oh, there's no question. They're in that Oregon category, that Georgia category, that category of you are nationally elite now. Everybody knows you and respects you and knows it's going to be a tough game, but you have to break through that door. You really do, to get that final stamp of approval. Jimbo had to do it at Florida State. Now that's the next challenge for Clemson with Dabo Swinney leading the way.
We know Steve Spurrier is done coaching college football, so no opening Thursday night game for him. But now,
please let TV hire him.
The countdown begins. 232 days until the kickoff of the
or less if you're watching this in the future.
Yeah, that's true. From the moment that we're taping this, okay? My calendar watch says January something, but it's 232 days from this taping to the kickoff of the college football season, the opening Thursday night. I can't wait. We're talking O'Neill. We do a radio show weekdays 3 to 7 on Sports Talk 1080 The Team Orlando.